Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about the continued failure of Buzzfeed. I know I did a video earlier in the week talking about the utter state of digital journalism, that things are not good right now, and Buzzfeed has become the poster child for freaking failure. And it couldn't happen to a nicer place, really. It couldn't happen to a nicer place. Buzzfeed, or Buzzard Feed, as some people are calling them, has lost about 90% of its stock value since they went public. This is insane, 88.87% in the last year. They started out about $10 a share when they went public, and now they're down to $1.07 a share. That is freaking disastrous. And this is a millennial media outlet that a lot of people held up as kind of the gold standard or the orange standard of what millennial media was all about. That they were going to transition from being a listicle, clickbait website into something respectable. They laid off a lot of their newsroom. Turned out that a lot of Buzzfeed was smoke and mirrors. That just like so many of these other news sites, the Vices and the Voxes and whatever, they were coasting off of venture capital. Now the venture capital has run out. And, there are still companies out there willing to front you money, but they want something in return. And they're starting to realize that these garbage tier websites aren't giving them anything, any bang for their buck. And it's a joke, guys. It's a joke. And I think Buzzfeed, Vox, Vice, Polygon, Gizmodo, all these sites I think will be gone within a decade, or consolidated, or just a pale imitation of what they once were, because again, they're not sustainable. What they're paying their writers, the offices that they're renting, not sustainable. So let's talk about this. Got to give a hat tip to Joe who sent this over. Thank you for that. Please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 282, almost 283,000 subs. Please subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously. We are not BuzzFeed. We also have a website at clownshishtv.com, which is sustainable. Basically, we pay our writers out of the money that we make off the website. We don't go, borrowing millions and millions and millions of dollars from venture capitalists. So BuzzFeed lays off 12% of employees coming from Variety. Digital media companies letting go 180 staffers amid challenging macroeconomic conditions. Now, I also think a lot of companies are going to toss people overboard and blame macroeconomic conditions. They're going to toss a lot of problematic employees overboard. They're going to toss a lot of unionized employees overboard. The New York Times, they were scheduling a walkout in a couple of days. 1,000 people were going to walk out. They want paid more. They have 1,000 writers in their bullpen, and they want more. And you're lucky to have a job if you're working as a journalist these days. You're lucky to have a job, and these people want paid more. I think they'll probably wind up looking for another job. Anyway, Buzzfeed is axing 12% of its workforce, or around 180 staffers, in a bid to cut costs as the digital media company faces headwinds, including an ad spending pullback and the completion of its integration of Complex Media. The company informed affected employees via email Tuesday they were being terminated in order for Buzzfeed to weather an economic downturn that I believe will extend well into 2023. We must adapt, invest in our strategy to serve our audience best. What audience? That's the problem. You don't have an audience. That's why you're not getting the views. And readjust our cost structures. CEO Jonah Peretti wrote in a memo to employees about the job cuts. Let's remind you, Buzzfeed's only worth $1 a share. $1 a share. BuzzFeed disclosed the layoffs in SEC filing on Tuesday. The company said the layoffs are intended to reduce the company's costs in response to factors including challenging macroeconomic conditions, completing the integration of Complex Media, and eliminating redundancies where they exist, and the ongoing audience shift to video. The ongoing audience shift to video, which BuzzFeed is still developing from a monetization standpoint. If you haven't figured it out yet, BuzzFeed, you're never going to figure it out. BuzzFeed went public a year ago, launching its IPO in December 2021 through a merger with a SPAC. As part of the SPAC deal, BuzzFeed acquired Complex Networks from Verizon and Hearst for $300 million. Prior to the IPO, BuzzFeed bought Huffington Post. At the end of 2021, BuzzFeed reported having 1,500 employees. For the third quarter of 2022, Buzzfeed reported a 15% increase in revenue, to $103 million, boosted by Complex, while its net loss ballooned to $27 million compared with a net loss of $3 million in the year earlier period. They are hemorrhaging money. It's clear that advertisers are continuing to exercise caution around Buzzfeed, around spending as a function of strong macroeconomic headwinds. Now, this is actually true. I'll tell you, advertising's down across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. But that's all BuzzFeed had going for them, was basically advertising. And, they're losing views. They depended heavily on Facebook to promote their clickbait. And that's not working out so well anymore because people are leaving Facebook too. CFO Felicia Della Fortuna said on the earnings call that they have a seasonal lift in Q4 revenue, but one that would be somewhat muted relative to prior years. This is true. We are on our websites and on our videos down about 30%. I imagine others are as well, if not more so. She also told analysts that BuzzFeed is focused on further optimizing our cost base to preserve cash over the coming quarters. Bulk of BuzzFeed's layoffs occurred December 6th, with only a few cases of severance extending into 2023, according to the company. Restructuring charges are anticipated to be between $8 million and $12 million, recognized primarily in the fourth quarter of 2022. March 2022, Peretti said the company would reduce the headcount at BuzzFeed News by 1.7% going forward, as well as laying off members of the BuzzFeed video team. Did they just get done saying that they were going to pivot to video and they're laying off people in the video team? Sounds to me like maybe the people in video aren't really bringing it. That's what it sounds like to me, because if I were going to pivot to video, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's hire some more video people. But they're not doing that. Anyway, here's his letter. This is what he said to staff. I'm ready to announce some very difficult changes today across the company. We're reducing our workforce by approximately 12%, letting many talented colleagues go. If you're impacted by the changes, you'll receive an email from Chandler Bondon, not Bing, in the next 5 minutes. Wow, including information and an FAQ that hopefully addresses many of your immediate questions. The notification will be followed by a calendar invite for a meeting in the next 36 hours with a manager and an HRBP. I want all of you, but especially those that are receiving the difficult news today, to know that these changes do not reflect on the good work that these employees have done over the years to build our company and our brands. No, it does not reflect on them necessarily, but basically BuzzFeed was a bad idea. BuzzFeed was a bad idea propped up by venture capital, and the money's running out. In order for BuzzFeed to weather an economic downturn, I believe will extend well into 2023, we must adapt, invest in our strategy to serve our audience best, and readjust our cost structure. It just goes on and on. The path I'm laying out today is a result of a deliberate and collaborative resource allocation review. Basically, if you're not worth our time, you're gone. They're going to invest in areas that will drive growth, shift away from areas with less audience engagement, and build a more robust creator business, which requires a close conduit between content, business, and tech, and bringing additional skills and tools to the organization. TLDR, they don't have a plan. There's no plan for BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed doesn't know what it's going to do. BuzzFeed's basically hoping it lives into next year, but at $1.07 a share, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I think it's going to be game over for BuzzFeed here pretty soon, within the next year or two. I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.